somewhere in the participating, which is why you turned up. So that's the one thing I got to say. If you're contented, you wouldn't turn up. But anyways, let's proceed. Next slide, please. Angie. So that one I gave you. Okay, why do they say mutually supportive? Because the simplest way to describe Toastmasters is monkey see, monkey do. We don't have teachers. That's why some people get taken aback by this when they come. There are no teachers. It's just that somebody who's a little bit further along the path guides you. You try, somebody will help you and point out your mistakes, where you can improve and where you're good, and you try again and again. So in a way, you are failing towards success in a way. That's the model of Toastmasters. Right, let's move along. Next one. There are 11 parts. Don't worry too much about them. You will see the samples of the parts later. Now a little bit about your host, Klang Bilingual Toastmasters. This one I must read, sorry. This one I have not memorized. KBTC is 2005 was established. I was here at the very beginning when they were chartered, actually, to be honest, from the very beginning. I was hanging around with them. They didn't chase me away, that's why I'm still around. So, for your information, Klang Bilingual was actually literally a bilingual club when they started. One meeting, most clubs meet twice a month. Klang Bilingual, one meeting was in English and one meeting was fully in Mandarin. That's why the bilingual comes. Literally. So I will only turn up for the English meetings. But over the years, somehow the club has evolved until now it is, I would say, 99.9% English. Occasionally, you will hear a table topic speaker in Mandarin, and I think that's about it. I'm not sure how that happened, but it is what it is. So you can do the Mandarin. I think just not to discourage the Chinese-speaking people, you can do Mandarin, but be warned, majority is English. Right. Okay, last part, both languages. I beg to differ, but it's a good place. It's a good place. It's a good place to learn, a good place to support. And one thing I like about Klang Bilingual is they are very, very into, they'll have little mini workshops in the restaurants all and helping and mentoring. I was very impressed with that always. They do that quite often. On Saturday, Sunday, they will coach. I've seen them doing that. I was really impressed with that. It takes a lot of dedication. That's one of their strengths. And I think they're still doing it. Good. All right. That takes care. Thank you very much. So now what we're going to do, our meeting has got 3 portions. Oh, yes, one more thing. Sorry, the members' educational progress. What they do is all the members, when you do speeches, the red tag, like the first one, you can see up there, Angie Chan, 3 marks, and that means she has finished 3 speeches so far for the term. The blue one, Suren is doing his number 1 today. The lady in blue over there, Voice, is doing a first speech also. The lady, Kuichi, EH, actually, that's not really true, the 2 speeches. We've done much, much more than that. But there's been a transition of the program, so she's doing a second speech in the program. So that's what it is. Thank you. Next slide, please. So the typical Toastmaster meeting is divided into 3 parts. First one typically is impromptu table topics where you learn to speak off the cuff. Meaning suddenly your boss asks, why did the project screw up suddenly? And you're like, oh. So you don't stumble and don't freeze. We teach you to speak under pressure. This, trust me, is a real world skill. I used it in my own work to save myself. Second part, prepared speech, which you see Huichi, Voice, Suren, and one more lady, Sachni, will deliver it online. They have got certain guidelines, they prepared a speech, and somebody will evaluate them, give their feedback on how did their speech. The third part is the evaluation. That is the secret sauce of Toastmasters. Everything that you do in a club, somebody will look at it and say, you could do this better, you did this well, why don't you consider this? So incremental improvement, bit by bit by bit, you reach your way towards success. All right. So that's the nutshell. So you see the program. Now it gives me great pleasure. You're going to go into the table topic session. And in the table topic session, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. My club does not practice this. My apologies. Some clubs do this, some don't. Okay, well, all the major role players will introduce themselves. Let us start off first with our general evaluator to introduce himself. He's online. I would like to say to briefly introduce the role of the general evaluator. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator, all the way from Singapore.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. So during the meeting, I will take notes on everything that happens and doesn't happen. So I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, delivery, enthusiasm, and performance of duties. And at the end of the meeting, I will give my report. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Next, can I call the language evaluator for the day, Prasad? Is he online or?
Yeah, I'm online. Yeah.
Good
Good evening, everyone, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, saying, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is contentment, which means happiness and satisfaction, often because you have everything you need. An example of using the word is more people were finding that material things do not bring contentment. So each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. You are encouraged to use the word of the day as frequent as you could in this meeting, and I will count how frequent this word has been used. Prior to the conclusion of this meeting, I shall give my report and the usage of the word of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Language Evaluator. Next, can I call upon the pause filler for the day, Bi Yang, to deliver her explanation? Over to you.
So everyone, the purpose of R counter is to note unnecessary words or sound that are used as a crutch or pause filler by everyone who speaks in this meeting. During the meeting, I will listen and count how many sounds that you use as a pause filler, for example, or repeated words or phrases such as you know, and I. At the end of the meeting, I will present my R counter report. Over to you.
Thank you. Last but not least, can I get the timekeeper for the day, Suji, imported all the way from Satu Hati Toastmasters to deliver her explanation.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Suja from Satu Hati. I'm so happy to be a timer today. So my duty is very simple. It's just try to create the awareness of the time. So I will give the time by using the green, amber, and the red to let the speaker to know the time. So I would like to request the speaker, whoever is speaking, try to pin the time when you give the speech. So I will give the report of the time when the G call. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let us proceed with the program for the day. The table topics or impromptu speech sessions. So this will be, for this, I will let the time over. Normally, this is the only portion where non-members can speak. So the guests, I think you will have a chance to speak. This is the only part you can speak. The other parts are only members can speak. So just to let you know, I don't know if there's good news or bad news. Most people read this section, actually, to be honest, but never mind, let's see what happens. I will leave the table topic master for the day is a real life ship's captain, used to be a ship's captain. Now he's offshore, a very dedicated member of the club. It's my pleasure to introduce your table topic master for the day, Captain Richard Gatila. The stage is yours, Captain.
Thank you very much. Can we give a round of applause to our distinguished Toastmaster and Toastmaster of the evening, Siva? That is a kind introduction of you. So thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. That's great. Okay, because sometimes it's raining in Klang, particularly in Port Klang. So if I may cut off, kindly raise your hand, especially those who are online, so that I can know that I am off of my audio. So good evening, fellow Toastmaster. Good evening, guests. And I'm so honored that I will be your table topic master for tonight. So for the information of everyone, what is table topics? This is for everyone, not only members, but especially our guests, to develop your skills of impromptu speaking. So table topics help you train to quickly organize and express your thoughts. So you can think of the table topic speech as a mini speech with an opening, body, and of course, the most important one is your take-home message or your conclusion. This is also to provide a speaking opportunity for our guests who is not on duty, or also our members who are not on duty during the meetings. And guests are warmly welcome to participate to this session. So each speaker is given 2 minutes to deliver their speech. For 1 minute, you will be seeing our timer. Who's our timer? Our timer is there, right? Hi, timer. Yeah, timer Suji, who is now flashing the green light. So it signifies that 1 minute is off. Then it will be followed by the amber light, which signifies 1.5 minutes is off. And when you reach 2 minutes, you will see the red light. And you will be given 30 seconds to wrap up your thoughts and to complete your speeches. So are you all ready, guys?
Yes.
Okay, I cannot feel the energy. I cannot feel the energy. So I had prepared wonderful topics, ladies and gentlemen, and I will be sharing my screen. Okay, can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, everyone can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I had prepared wonderful and exciting topics, and this is all related to our theme for today, which is lion dance. So you may pick a number, and I will show the questions during the session. So who may want to start the table topic session? I can see timer Sujay. Are you raising your hand?
Hi, Richard.
Hi. This is
Krishna.
Hi.
You forgot me.
sorry, distinguished Krishna. So you may choose number, sir.
Okay. Since the theme of the evening is lion dance, I'll be contented with number 6.
Okay, so for topic number 6. So your topic, distinguished Toastmaster Krishnan, is what is celebration means to you? What is celebration means to you, distinguished Toastmaster Krishna?
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Celebration. When you talk about the word celebration, it comes from celebrate. And to me, there is no particular reason where you need to have a special occasion to celebrate. To me, every moment we are living is a celebration. Because when you compare what we are going through with so many unfortunate people, we should be celebrating. Because we are healthy, we have food on the table, we have a roof over our head. We should be very, very, very contented with who we are. The fact that we all can gather today in a Toastmasters meeting, we should be celebrating. How many people out there is able to do this? So, for me, no special occasion to celebrate, but to celebrate every moment we live. Growing up, I used to think I should be celebrating when I achieve something. I had a very strict father. So imagine coming back home with my report card, and if I did not get in the top 5, the cane comes up. So every time I got in the top 5, I used to celebrate. So I thought celebration was when you achieve something. But as you grow older, and wiser, I hope. I realize you don't need anything special. Celebrate the fact that we are living. Celebrate the fact that we have friends and we have people who love us. Back to you.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Krishna. Can we give a round of applause to our distinguished Toastmaster? Wow, I definitely agree. And yeah, I'm always inspired by our DTM whenever I hear his message. And I agree with him that every day must be celebrated. And yeah, this is the reason why I keep smiling, and every day I feel hopeful, because as what our distinguished saying, every day must be celebrated. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Krishna, for that wonderful message. Moving on, can we get a online speaker? Someone that she is smiling out there. Don't be shy, come on. Or shall I call, do we have guests on this stage?
Hi, Richard. Suren here.
Oh, Suren, yes.
Yeah.
Sure, Suren. Okay, so number 6 is off. You may choose a number.
Number 1.
Number 1. Toastmaster Soren, what is the most expensive gift you received? What is the most expensive gift you received? Toastmaster Soren.
Okay. Good evening for Toastmasters and guests. Okay, what is the most expensive gift I received? Okay, the most expensive gift I received is, it's not from a person, but it's from an animal, which is my pet dog. I received unconditional love from my pet dog. His name is Rocky. So that is the most expensive gift I ever received, because sometimes I tend to not bother my pet, so I just do my own things. But then my pet dog just come find me, and yeah, just trying to play with me. And always, whenever I'm home, right, just with wide smile, showing that you can see from the eyes itself that he actually loves me like really crazily. So, and that's the most expensive gift I ever received. And yeah, and recently, like 2 years ago, my pet dog passed away due to something. So that's the moment I regretted that I didn't spend time or didn't care that much, because at some time I actually chose to ignore my pet dog and then do some other things which was less important. So if let's say I could have get a chance, then probably I could have spent more time. So, but I don't think so anyone can beat that level of expensive gift. It's invaluable actually. So yeah, that's it. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Soren. Can we give a round of applause to our Toastmaster? Yeah, I agree with him. And I even myself, I don't really need luxurious things. I even value simple smiles from people. That makes me happy. And those are the daily expensive gifts that I am receiving from my friends, from my family. So simple things like that. And yeah, like dogs, that's a very precious gift you can ever receive from someone who is dearly to you. So moving on. Okay, hold on, guys. Can I get another speaker? Anyone? Oh.
Try number 3.
I think this is Voice. Hi, Voice.
Yes, I would like to try number 3.
Okay, thank you, Voice. So your topic is Voice. What family means to you? What family means to you, Toastmaster Voice?
Good evening, everyone, all the fellow Toastmaster and guests. I believe family is a very special word in our hearts, right? For me, family means someone dear in my heart. It could be real family with
blood relationship, or even some friends who are close to our heart that have been through the life challenges with us. At the happy times, even the sad times, when our friends are with us, they are actually our family. So for me, I feel that everyone, each and every one of you are actually my family members. So family is a very important entity in my life. I believe that without family support, we couldn't go through challenges so easily. But a lot of people thought that family is just about our basic family, our parents, our children, our close relative. But actually, I would like to expand the meaning of family to a wider horizon. That actually family means people who are dear in your heart. It can be your family members and also your friends. So I hope that everyone will treasure family members, especially in festive seasons like this. Pay a visit to your family members, be it your close friends, your distant relative, or even your parents who you haven't met for some time. It's always a good time to get closer together, especially in this festive season. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful thoughts from our Toastmaster Voice. Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you, Voice. You make me feel I'm part of your family as well. Yeah, I strongly agree with Voice. Everywhere we are, whenever we are, or whoever we are, we can always create a family. I myself, I've been away from my parents, my sister for more than 5 years, and I always find family wherever I am, at work or even at roads, by speaking to other people. That makes me feel that I am belong, and I created a family out of them. So thank you, Voice, for such a wonderful thoughts. Moving on, can I call another speaker? Hey, come on, don't be shy. Your time is running. Can we get an online volunteer?
Hello, Topic
Hi.
Master. I'm Eileen
Hi,
here. I'll give it a try.
Eileen. Yes, of course, of course, of course. So 3 is off. You may choose 2, 4, and 5.
I would think I'll go for number 2.
Number 2. So the lucky charm. Hi, Elaine. Your topic is, when was your happiest day? When was your happiest day? Toastmaster Elaine.
Thank you, Topic Master. Good evening to Area Director, Madam President, members, and also visiting guests. When was my happiest day? I would say that it is on the 7th of July in 2021, where I got married to my husband, Robert. Why you say so? Actually, it was during the COVID period. We did not have a very super fancy wedding banquet like what a normal Chinese wedding would be. But still, during that day, my heart felt very full. I was very contented with whatever that turned out. We had a small celebration between both our families, where we had a gathering together, where we get to know each other. Our both families get to know each other. And me and my husband had known each other for 7 years. And in fact, when we first got together, there were many challenges. There were many ups and downs, whereby we didn't imagine that we would eventually successfully get to the day that we get married. So I believe those who are married would understand that kind of undescribable, contented feeling of marrying the partner of your life. And that is the happiest day of my life. Thank you. Back to you, Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Elaine. Yeah, I somehow disagree, because for men, sometimes wedding is the most terrible and horrifying day because we're talking about expenses, starting a family. So this such kind of a bit stressful on men's part. Anyway, yeah, so congratulations on that, Toastmaster Elaine, and we are happy seeing you on your on the next stage of your life. Moving on, can we get another volunteer? If I cannot hear or I cannot see you, please speak your name.
I'll go next.
Hi, Vanu. I'm still good. Everyone can.
Yes, you're breaking. Yeah.
Hello.
Now better. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, still raining in Portland. So, Toastmaster Vanu, we still have two options, 4 or 5. You may choose one.
I'll go with number 4.
Number 4. So, Toastmaster Vanu, what makes you laugh or smile? What makes you laugh or smile, Toastmaster Vanu?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters. What makes me laugh or smile? What an interesting topic. So you can see I'm smiling right now. So being stuck in this moment where you're not sure what to say, I will be smiling. And that's not all. I think I also smile when I'm happy, when I'm meeting someone that I would love to see. And of course, with children, with family, and all that makes me smile. I think most of us do that, especially during festive season, like Chinese New Year. So when you're with your family, you will laugh and smile. And that is the most important thing in life. There are moments that you'll feel sad, you will feel not contented, and you will feel challenged. But you have to take a look at happy moments, the moments that you feel you can cherish life, especially being with your family, and also considering what's good happening around you. And there are some times that we have to think about others who are in a more difficult situation, in a war, or maybe in poverty. So when you think of all those people, I think you can be feeling happy and laugh and smile because you are in a better shape, in a better country like Malaysia. So definitely is something that you can cherish. And thank you very much, everyone. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vanu. Can you give her a round of applause? Yeah, I agree. I think the key message of our Toastmaster is contentment. So, I mean, every single thing, whatever happening to us, we should be grateful. We should be empowered. We should be keep smiling and keep laughing. So that I mean, this is our simple way of appreciating things. So thank you very much on that thoughts and message, distinguished Toastmaster Vanu. And moving on to the last topic, this is something special. Five, or shall I call someone?
I'll go for it, Richard.
Do we have guests? Hi, Nisha. Oh, go Malati. Yeah, Malati. Yes, Toastmaster Malati, your topic is what is one thing you want to give to someone? What is one thing that you want to give to someone? Toastmaster Malati.
Good evening, my fellow Toastmaster. What is one thing that you want to give to someone? Over my years of being a manager and also a coach to many of my colleagues and also my direct reports, one thing I always want to give them, which I'm always also very, very selfish about, is my time. There are many times that when you are a manager, people will reach out to you for support and advice. Definitely, they look up to you for your age. Likewise, I do have my direct reports reaching out to me after office hours during weekends. I see that so much of need in them wanting to progress and excel in their career as well, especially in fact, in life. I don't mind spending my time for them. There are times that I get to a discussion with them, and it's not that I have answers or I'm able to solve many of their questions or concerns that they have. However, going to this conversation with an open heart, one thing that I've also learned is I'm able to give some advice. While giving some advice, when exploring into option, I also discover myself. There are times that when the conversation ends, I have my direct reports, whoever have actually reached out to me, they will tell me that, boss, you got me the answer. When I got into that conversation, trust me, I didn't have any answer as well. So once when the conversation is ended, I will then tell myself, hey, look, where did I get that from? This is where I realize giving my time wisely for those who are needed, definitely it helps them and helps myself in discovering myself. Something very, very precious about, definitely it's about time. Be wise when you want to give it to everybody, especially what I also tell, or whenever I reach out to a discussion with them, I will tell them that make sure that you improve from here on so that next time it's even a more challenging discussion and I'm happy to contribute. Thank you. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Malati. Can we give her a round of applause? Yeah, it makes me feel like I was listening to a podcast. Thank you very much, Malati. Yeah, I'm always inspired by your messages, and yeah, I agree with you because most of the people when I hear and when they ask for their time, they will tell me that they don't have time. So the only priceless and precious thing, and it's free, it's time. Thank you very much for giving us to that, your most precious gift to us. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Malati. And that ends the table topic session. I was so glad that I had completed the six topics, and I cannot be successfully do this without our volunteers, our speakers. Thank you very much, guys. This made the session more exciting and how to say this, it's more active and presented in a well manner. So thank you very much, and I will hand it over to our Toastmaster of the evening, distinguished Toastmaster Siva.
Thank you, Richard. Well, that's the end of the table topics, ladies and gentlemen. Now I think you have to vote for the best table topic master. Are you all using a Slido or are you going to use a physical? Slido. Okay, we're going to vote using Slido. I think the slide will be coming out on the screen in a short while. Perhaps if the number you can give me, I can write it down here. You have the number? Right, the whiteboard here.
Yeah, it's here.
Okay, sorry, so sorry. You guys can take this.
Please help to share.
Can online to the Zoom feature the operator. Yeah, actually it's a
Very blur.
Can be online. People see the QR code. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. That's right. Quick count of 5. Everyone okay? Right, count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Has everyone now voted? I presume you have. Don't worry, the thing won't die immediately. So you can just carry on. Now we're going to proceed with the what I talked about, the evaluation portion. So table topic speakers gave their best just now. Now the table topic evaluator will give his opinion on how well they did and where he thinks they can improve. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the table topic evaluator of the evening, Toastmaster Tyler. Give him a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and Toastmasters. It gives me great contentment to be here to listen to all the great table topic speeches. And thanks, Angie, again for giving me this opportunity to be the table topic evaluator. So let me start with the first speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Krishna. Well, I can see that you are an exemplary speaker. You speak eloquently, and then you speak, not only that, you also speak very clearly and very succinctly. You are truly a very experienced speakers. I think the only advice that perhaps I would like to share with you is that perhaps you need to engage more with the online audience, because what I can observe is that most of the eye contact are only limited to the physical audience. Otherwise, I think you deliver an excellent speech. Thank you for that. So move on to speaker number 2, Toastmaster Suren. Wow, I think in your speech you share with us your personal stories. I think sharing a personal story in your speech is very useful because it actually helps you to engage your audience, and also you also add credibility to your speech. An area for improvement would be your posture, because I did take note that you sway a lot. Yeah, even though you're trying to gesture, but somehow you didn't stand still. I mean, perhaps you can take note of that in the next speech. Moving on to Toastmasters voice. Yeah. Well, I noticed that you are very comfortable speakers. I can see that you are improving, from time to time from a first speech until now. And I really look forward to your next speech later, which is your prepared speech. I think something to highlight about is that you speak, you actually pace your words nicely, and also you are very, a very comfortable speaker, I would say. So an area for improvement for you would be that to make you on the stage, because the stage is just don't limit to one spot. Perhaps will actually make you a more animated, I would say. It will just stand still on one spot. Perhaps should move around. It will actually help you to engage with the audience better. So now let's pivot to Toastmaster Elaine. I think again a very experienced speakers like most of you here. So again, you start off with by sharing with us your personal story. I think down to the details, the date of your weddings. Yeah, I think that's very important, because when you share with us the date of events, it will really get our attention. I would say that, because and also I think again, I think what I want for you to be that I think perhaps you can skip the greeting part, because I think you spend a few sentences on that, because when it comes to table topic contest, that's not really counted as a content, but perhaps it's okay for you to do so in the in our usual table topics. So moving on, Toastmaster Banu, glad to see you again, because well, I think your strength is as always is you are very, or could I have very good gestures. I think your gestures are not just limited to your hand, especially your facial gestures. Especially when we're talking about sharing with us the happiness, the happy events are going through. It truly reflects through your facial expressions. Quickly to mention about an area of improvement, again, I think the same advice that we offer for Toastmasters voice, again, is to make use of stage. Yes. And lastly, moving on to Toastmaster Malati. Wow, I think she's a wonderful speaker. So, but anyway, I think what she's facing, the problem is the problems of having hybrid meeting, because we will have online audience where the camera can only capture the face. I can see that Malati is very animated. I can see a lot of gesture, but I can only see half your hands only. I don't see the whole body gestures you're trying to portray. Perhaps you can take note on that. Either adjust your camera, or perhaps you can stand up so that we can see your body gestures better. So I think that's all from me. Thank you very much, Toastmaster.
Thank you for the sharing of your opinion, Tyler. Now, before we go for a short break, let's take the photo operation. Yeah. Tangkap gambar. And who's going to handle the tangkap gambar? Angie, is it? How are you going to do it? Or come to the stage, is it? Okay, can you all come on stage? Mari. Tangkap gambar.
For the joke part, can Papa type of
Can.
Farhan, later can you help us to take picture on online people?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
I mean, please, everyone eat. Suren, yeah, you're great.
Cannot see. Dekat ni sudah, the two ladies are out. Can you see? Are you still out of the frame? Are you taking, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, then only go and wait for the frame.
So you can see, yeah, I can see. So physical, because the light is to you. I think you said besides. Can you move it? Is it yeah. So okay. So yeah. Where? So NG camera first, right? Sorry. NG or camera first. Alright. So see NG.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Pistol. Okay. Alright.
So Farhan, you will help us to take, right?
Yes. I'm taking. So, but can I have Richard, Sarah, and Nishan to open their camera, please?
Everyone can. Oh yeah, the front camera. So we should see the camera. Yeah, to see the laptop. Right.
Can you?
I'm not able to open on my camera. It's glitching here. My camera is giving me problem. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, hold on. Beside Krishna is who? I cannot see. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more time. Freestyle. 3, 2, 1. Okay, done.
All right, we'll have a short break, ladies and gentlemen. What time do we need to come back? 8:30, 1 hour, 8:30, I think.
Oh,
it's already 8:26. Okay, 8:31, come back. By the way, those who want to speak, please leave the room because they'll be opening a breakout room, I think, here. Yeah. I don't have a breakout room, so many. Or you'll be chatting with them, so when we disturb, they're going to talk, then you can sit silently. If you want to yet, please step outside the room.
Yeah, we have some languages oriented and great.
Yeah, what room is there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys can go out if you want to speak out. Yeah, close the door later on. Hello. Eli, is it?
Hi, Angie.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to help me as an evaluator.
No problem.
Your place is from Johor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In JB, Nusa Jaya is near Gelang Patah. It's somewhere at the side of JB, I would say.
So if next time you'll be in Klang, hopefully you can visit us.
Actually, my hometown is in Klang.
So Chinese New Year, you're coming back here?
Yeah, I went back on the evening of the first day. And I had to come back on the fourth day.
Oh, fourth day, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was briefly in Klang.
Yeah. So you're still near with Benjamin, is it before?
Yeah, nearer to Benjamin than any one of you here.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have take your dinner already?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes. I really wait for your evaluator later.
Okay.
Yeah. Forward. Paramesh.
Oh, you're muted. ETM Paramesh.
You muted.
Hey.
Okay.
Hi, Eileen.
Hello, we meet again.
Hi.
How
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
I think this meeting is very nicely done. I've been to a few hybrid meetings, but this is quite well organized.
Yeah, very well organized.
So yeah, Eric Ong also is from Monash University. And hi.
Hello.
Hi, Angie. Hi.
Yeah, thanks for coming. It's a very last minute for you, so thank you for accepting the chance. Yeah.
No problem,
How's your new year?
Yeah, I just came back for studies, I think on Monday. Yeah, I came back on Monday.
Good to see you again. Yeah. Hope you enjoy this moment later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I didn't take up as an icebreaker evaluator. So
Oh, is it? Okay.
so later, do you have the standing ovation thing?
No, I don't think we have time. Maybe we will. Our president will just. I think will be icebreaker for both of them.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Sha. Josh. Sorry, my pronunciation is very bad here.
No worries, it's Sajni, and who am I speaking to?
Angie here.
Oh, Angie, I don't see you.
Okay.
Now I see you very clearly. I used to visit
See
your
you.
club. I used to visit your club quite frequently before the MCO.
Oh, okay. Later on, I hope you can come again.
I hope so, because I don't like online meetings actually.
No worry, I keep on inviting you until you can come for evaluator for us.
I know you're going to keep bugging me.
I think I'm good at it.
You're very persistent.
Sure. I won't how to say if you don't say no, next time I will try again. It doesn't mean no for today. Doesn't mean for tomorrow you say no. So I will keep trying until I get it.
Wow. So what do you do in terms of your profession, Angie?
I'm working in a lab.
Lab, okay.
Yes, government lab.
Government, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were in sales or something,
No.
Oh, Angie, may I know what lab are you in?
I'm in government sector. I'm in clinic lab.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm in Selangor. Klinik Kesihatan Bukit Naga.
Okay, I see. I think the clinical lab is quite related to me.
Yeah, you can call me anytime.
Oh, okay. Good to know that.
No wonder Avery was so excited when you said in the lab.
Lab actually is clinic lab and hospital lab is very different. Hospital is you don't see I call it customer for patient. I don't call them patient, I call customer. We don't see customer if you're in hospital. But when you're in clinic, you will see them. Yeah, you need to speak with them, you need to cooperate with them. Yeah, it's totally different.
So are you a doctor by profession?
No. I'm really in a lab medical technologies.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not a nurse. My position is a lab technician.
May I ask you, what did you study then?
It's a lab technician.
Lab technician, okay.
Yeah, it's all about lab. Really go through into every I mean, we have a lot of section like hematologies, parasite, biochemistry, microbiology, blood bank, histopathology, immunologies, a lot. Yeah, so we will learn from the basic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you choose to be in this clinic kesihatan?
Actually, I didn't choose for it. I'm being asked to be there. So actually, only this year I come to this clinic. It's a challenge for me and it's a new start for me for this year.
Oh, okay.
I just start on, I think 9 January, I just start work in that clinic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's getting start to A again to gather all the management work and my work. Yeah. So I hope everyone will be around here later on. Benjamin, are you here? Benjamin, is it?
Benjamin.
Hi, hello. Yes, Benjamin here. Hi.
Yeah, can I call you Ben? Only Benjamin
Yep.
is quite
Ben is fine. Ben is fine. Yep.
Yeah, Ben. So you're working as?
I'm a writer, editor. Yep.
Oh, so you have a lot of free times or you're not a lot of free times?
Not a lot because I'm in the startup and we cover financial literacy topics. Yeah, and I also run a training platform for them. Yep.
I see. Yeah, very thanks that you can come to my club to, visit.
No?
Even though you're far away.
I think now with online, nowhere is too far. But thanks for the invitation. Very happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully one day I can join your club, like Zoom also.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. That time, if I'm not mistaken, who will come before? I can't remember the name also. As a GE from your club.
Oh, is it Sean or?
Yeah, it's Sean. From Hong Kong, right?
Yes, Sean is based in Hong Kong. Yes.
Yeah, he came to our club before, so yeah, last year. I can't remember when was it. Yeah. So Parasat, you're working at home or you're working at?
I'll go to my site.
Yes. Okay, I think we are time's up. So I wait for them to come in again. Then we can kickstart again. I'll pass it to Nicholas. I'll make a sign for you when they're all be seated.
Thanks, Haji.
I think it should be okay. Back to you.
Okay, thank you for returning back to the meeting. Hope you all enjoy the break and have a nice chit chat with the rest of the members. Next, we are going to proceed to the second session, which is a prepared speech. Hope everyone is ready. Please allow me to pass over to the TME, Toastmaster Sivalingam.
Right. Thank you, Nicholas. Good evening and welcome back, everyone. Now we are coming to the prepared speech sessions. Here, we will have the opportunity to have 4 people who have been preparing their speech. Some of them have been preparing for weeks, some have been preparing for months, and some, I believe, have been preparing for hours, but it's okay. We don't judge. It's up to you. So I'm going to start the ball rolling. The first speaker tonight is going to be Toastmaster Suren. He's going to be doing what is known as the icebreaker. Perhaps we can let them settle down first so we can give full attention to Suren. Okay, welcome. Oh, are you okay? All right, great. So this is the first speech. They call it the icebreaker. The time is 4 to 6 minutes. 4 minutes, green light. 5 minutes is a yellow light. And 6 minutes as a red light. In fact, the first 2 speakers are both doing icebreakers. Usual custom is icebreaker, they don't ring the bell, they don't chase you. For the other speeches, they have a limit. They tell you your time up, get lost, you see, in a way. But for icebreaker, we forgive you. But still, don't take advantage. Don't go on and on and on. Although once I remember years ago, the icebreaker spoke for 10 whole minutes. That was overkill, actually. So, but never mind. We will see that this is the first time they're doing. It's a maiden attempt. It's a challenge for many people. I do not know the 2 speakers, what they're like, but I have seen speakers who it is a major personal challenge just to stand up and speak in front of a crowd. So let's give them our attention and our support. The first speaker today is doing his icebreaker. He's taking the pathway known as persuasive influence. What does that mean? What happens is Toastmasters has 11 different pathways. For example, if you are a kind of person who wants to tell funny stories and jokes, there's one path called engaging humor. All the assignments there are, the basic assignments are common, but the more advanced assignment all talk about how to use jokes, how to use one-liner. They focus on making a more humorous speech. For example, the speech that persuasive influence that Suren is doing, the idea is you build up the skills to influence, to be influential in complex situations or whatever. So each of the parts has got a slightly different focus, but all of them teach you to become a better public speaker. So without further ado, let me introduce the first speaker of the night here, Suren, with his icebreaker with a speech entitled Story of My Life. Story of My Life, Suren. Let's give him a
Thank you for those words of the evening. Okay. Everyone know me, my name by Suren. Actually, my full name is Surendran Sevdiapan. So that's my full name. So let me go into my speech right now. Story of my life started on January 26, 1996 at Hospital Tengku Ampuan Raima, also known as Istiad, where I born. As I born, I surprised to see there was a baby. And that's when I get to know I'm a twin. Don't be surprised. I'm a non-identical twin. Means that I don't look alike like my twin. And in fact, my twin is a female. So as a baby, we were very vocal. And my mom used to say like we are like the Kardashians because we keep babbling with each other. And everyone don't know what we was talking, but I can guess what we was actually talking. We was talking about some gossips as we were baby and share our disinterest on adults who kiss us as a baby. So as a baby don't like to be kissed, right? And it's not like adults. Adults are different, right? So yeah, so that's how my baby phase was. So then we grew into children, and when we go into children, that's when I understand that me and my twin are vastly different. She was a natural talker and especially a good storyteller. And me, I'm more sort of an observer guy and like I don't talk much. So, but we were good kids back then. And after that, and my rebellious years started at teenage, where I play hard and did not work hard. And during this phase where people honed their communication skill, but I could not care less. And I thought I could win it without getting to know Mr. Communication, and that's what I did. I moved to my senior years of high school, and that's when that is an important period for any students because there's a public exam and that's determine your tertiary education or the jobs you are going to do after completing SPM. But I still choose to play hard and I did that. And finally, I enrolled to a college in Subang. Anyone guess what college it is? Yes, obviously. Yeah, that is the college where I enrolled. And the experience of my college, I would say, a downstream of a roller coaster. Not that it's bad, but it jolted me from being passive and also opened my eyes to a lot of things, especially that communication is important. The reason why communication is important, I realized is, the reason why communication is important. Okay, I understand that communication was important as a grown-up man. For the first time, I feel like communication was alien to me, and I find it hard to make friends. And I envy all my classmates who had so many friends. And that's when, but there's a good news. I did manage to make 3 friends by end of the first sem, and they're still good friends with me still now. And making friends wasn't as hard. It wasn't used to be hard. Because as we were kids, you just go up to another kid and say, do you want to be my friend? 90% of the time they say, yeah, I can be your friend. For the other 10%, you just have to show them chocolate. They will become your friend. But as an adult, that wasn't the case. So, making friends wasn't the issue for me, but what was once an easy become difficult. So that was the reason. The reason why when we become adults, it's very hard to make friends is because we develop into more fears. Or at least I do. So, which hinders my progress of making a conversation, even in normal interpersonal communications. So, I make a challenge for myself to improve my communication, and I want to join Toastmaster. So, this was 4 to 5 years ago, but I still couldn't join because of fear holding me. And on a random day, during this period, there was a voice in my head says this: fear can keep us safe at times, but it can also keep us from discovering our best side. Once I heard this, I thought, I gathered all my courage and joined KBTC, October 2022, which is 4 months ago. And it took me 4 months to give my first speech. And I'm still proud of it. I wish to end the speech with a quote from Suzy Kazim. Fear kills more dream than failure ever will. Take this as your sign to face fear. My name is Surya. Thank you for the opportunity.
And don't feel bad about waiting for 4 months to do your speech, because when I was Toastmasters, there's something called Humor Master where I told jokes. It took me 4 years to do that chicken. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think for the icebreaker, we always recognize this. Let's have a standing ovation. All of you stand up. Thank you. We always do that because it's a major milestone coming up, delivering a speech. The next speaker is doing exactly the same thing, the same part, same project. There's one difference. She provided in an intro, so I'm going to give a little bit backstory for her. Voice Lee says she's the mother of 2 young kids, which explains the table topics. I so lucky for you. And she was formerly an R&D chemist. Wow. Became a mompreneur. That's the first time I came. It means mommy entrepreneur, mother businesswoman, mompreneur. And she's a person who says she wants to move out from a comfort zone and make things happen. So now let's all give our attention to mompreneur Voice Lee as she delivers a speech entitled Icebreaker. Icebreaker, mompreneur Voice Lee.
Thank you, Toastmaster today, Mr. Siva. And very good evening to all the members of the floor. Before I start, I would like to ask you some simple questions. Do you know what do you want in your life? Do you have a dream? And have you ever thought of these questions before? Okay. A simple introduction about myself. My name is Royce. My actual name is Lee Wei Ha. But guess what? Why did I call myself Royce? Simply because people recognize and remember my voice more than my face. Yeah, and it's easy to remember. And I started to use this name since I started working. That's how, so you can call me Royce or Wei Ha, whichever you feel nice and easy to remember. I started working in my mid-20s after graduating from my master's degree in phytochemistry. So my previous field of expertise in research was in drug discovery for cancer treatment from the medicinal plants. I find it very meaningful. And why did I choose this path was because I saw how cancer patients suffer when I worked in a hospital as a part-timer in the pharmacy. And I also saw it with my own eyes how my close friends and relatives suffered from the illness. I hope that I can do something for them. That's how I enrolled in my master's degree program. You must be wondering whether I was in the pharmaceutical field after I graduated. The answer is no. However, I actually started my journey of employment in a palm oil refinery company. It was totally a different field of industry for me. But I think that there's always challenges in life, and it's always opportunity behind every happenings in life. So I took up the challenge. I was in the palm oil refinery company. I thought I would be a palm oil chemist for the rest of my life. But I was given an opportunity to be in the pioneer group in the company to start up a new business in home care and personal care products. I feel that I was fortunate to be given a chance to participate in a pioneer group to start up a new business unit. It was a challenge because I have zero background in personal care and home care product development. But anyhow, with the same belief, I took up the challenge and I was in the industry for many years. I was a workaholic and I loved my job very, very much. But I do not like the lifestyle that I had. It was always point A to point B every day after work. I even worked until 11 p.m. in the industrial park. The security guard in the company called me high-class security. But I don't mind it because I love my job. Until I sacrificed my health. I had obesity problem, I had hormonal issue, and the worst part was I had a very severe sleep disc condition at my lower back. I almost ended up in a wheelchair in my early 30s. That was very, very scary. I feel very fortunate that my friend introduced me a program and some products that actually helped me to improve and heal. Now I can perform like a normal person. I feel very blessed and passionate. So I started to share my solution with all the friends around me. I feel fulfilled and I feel empowered. And at that time, I started to think back the question that I asked you earlier. What is your dream? What do you want in your life? So I started to think, and I recall back the people that I met along the way, their real life experience, their life stories. I started to know that what I want in my life. I want a holistic success in my life, and I want to live a meaningful life. So I started to consider, in the employment, most of the time, we might have the money, but we don't have time. Correct? Sometimes we have a lot of time, but we have limited. Yes, no money. Yeah. So I was thinking, why can't we have the best of both worlds? So I started to ask my mentors how did she did it, because she did it. And I started to humble myself to learn and started my journey in the business of health and beauty. with the product that helped me to regain my health and vitality. I find it very, very meaningful. That's how I started the journey to be a mompreneur. Why did I call myself a mompreneur? I'm a full-time mommy, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I feel very, very blessed with the choice that I made. Because about 2 years ago, when my son was 1 year plus, he had a very serious condition, diarrhea, that he has to be admitted in a hospital in isolation for 1 week. That time I was thinking, if I was still in the corporate world, I was a head of department, how would my life be? Do I need to bring my computer to the ward and open up the computer, having meetings while taking care of young kids that would be very, very attached when the baby was sick? I feel fortunate that I can give him 100% of my attention, and no one ever called me for meetings or paperwork or signature. I believe all of you can resonate, right? Sometimes we are in some challenging condition, but we still receive the call from the company, I need your signature. Okay, so I felt that this is a way to go, and I hope that I can do well and do better along the way. Why did I choose Toastmaster? Because I wanted to come out from my comfort zone. I believe that the journey in Toastmaster can help me to enrich myself, overcome my fears, be a better communicator, and give more values to be a good leader in future. So I'm very happy to know all of you, and I hope we can grow together. Thank you.
Now we're done. So she shared a little bit about herself, and she gave us a new word, mompreneur. Then I can, I'm a bachelor and an entrepreneur. You'll be a backpreneur, is it? Anyways, so again, as an icebreaker, normally we have only one icebreaker. Today we got two. Let's give two standing ovation. You sit down. You are very privileged, ladies and gentlemen. Usually it goes, sometimes weeks go without one icebreaker. Today you're privileged to see two icebreakers. It's always nice to see an icebreaker. Nice. Now let's move along further. The third speaker of the evening is Hui Chi, DL5, PM5. She has done finished 2 pathways, and she's doing a third one, is it? Engaging humor. Her pathway is engaging humor. Hui Chi wants to be funnier. I mean, she wants to be a funnier. She's doing the level 1 project to speech. You can read the details in your agenda, actually, if you wish to. What does Hui Chi do? She's a lion dance performer, actually. Actually, she doesn't. She told me to make up whatever I want to do, you see. But that's the danger. Never do that, see. But actually, I know Hui Chi for a long time. She's one of the long-time members of this club. She's the pillar of this club. She's contributed to the club in many ways, past president. She's the current area director in the governance. She has served the movement very well in many, many capacities, and I've known her for a very long time. She has grown by leaps and bounds. It is so nice to see her perform again tonight. So tonight, Hui Chi is going to do a level 1 project to speech, writing a speech purpose, and it's entitled Peculiar Chinese Traditions. Peculiar Chinese Traditions, Heng Hui Chi.
Before I start, I just want to check with the online audience. Am I loud and clear? Thanks for the thumbs up. I'm a pure Chinese. I like to put this statement first because my speech is related about race, which is very sensitive, particularly in this country. But just now, our Sergeant at Arms didn't mention that, so I just want to spell this out to make sure everything is safe. In conjunction of Chinese New Year, in short CNY, I find that we Chinese have these 3 Chinese traditions which are peculiar to me. The first Chinese New Year tradition, eating
CNY meal, Chinese New Year meal. During this festive season, I was auspicious and prosperous enough to be selected by my generous general manager to eat Chinese New Year meal with our customers. It's our custom tradition to treat our customer right, to feed them right, in order to receive more businesses from them. So perhaps my GM saw that I have this potential to gain weight. That's why he picked me. I'm not sure how many of you had joined this kind of business-related meal before. Yes, I see many nodding heads. I'm not sure how did you find it. Let me share my story. I still really remember this particular CNY lunch that we had. We were all sitting in a round table, and my general manager initiated a small talk conversation with their highest ranking representative, their head of R&D. And the rest of us were just sitting around the table, looking at them. The both of their conversations were flowing from one end to another end, and we were just sitting in the middle and like watching a drama, eating popcorns. Soon, the food were being served. We had the signature lo sang. I think most of you are very familiar with it. We have fresh fish, fresh prawns, solid prawns, tender chicken, broccoli with juicy mushrooms, all those signatures Chinese luxurious meal. We then found out this is not the first CNY meal they had. They had many invitations from other suppliers at the same restaurant, eating the same meal package again and again and again. They look bored with this kind of package. We, on the other side, too very afraid of CNY meal because we had lines up of meals eating with our suppliers and our customers. We too afraid of gaining weight session. So I was pondering why Chinese loves to overeat so much, and at the same time, we have to do it. So moving on to the second tradition, which is house visitation. So let me paint a picture for those of you who might not be familiar with Chinese traditions. Before visiting a house, we need to prepare some gifts in advance. It's not nice to go empty-handed. Usually, we'll pack mandarin oranges, Chinese New Year cookies, literary cookies, or pineapple tarts, or some other snacks that you can bring. So my mom would always prepare some mandarin oranges, depends on the number that she liked on that day itself, definitely not 4, some other numbers. And on top of that, she would prepare another cookies. So there we go. After finished preparing all these gifts, we were sat in the car and moved to the destination, our relative's house. And my mom would hand over the gift to that relative. There goes our custom. And usually, my aunt will follow the standard operating procedure as if it was written on the wall. She'll start to ask some questions, which some of you might be very familiar with it. Some chuckles over there. She'll ask me, Chia, have you got a boyfriend? Now you know, secret. I'm single and available. And so you can introduce to me. And young wrinkles are coming out. The standard operating procedure questions she'll ask. How much is your salary now? Do you get bonus? Do you get increment? If you this job to another company, you are not young anymore. And there I was, rolling my eyes inside my heart and put on my table topic skill, the impromptu speaking skill that I practiced here for so many years. I would try to push it away somehow and receive the angbao happily from them for my base. So after that, my aunt will usually walk to the kitchen and prepare the gift back to us. She will be using the same bag, same mandarin oranges, but just change the cookie to another cookie. So I was wondering why Chinese are so funny. It's like buying a gift for ourselves in this manner. It's okay. Move on to the third Chinese tradition. Gambling and drinking. Sorry, it is haram. I'm not sure, are there any Muslims here? Online, yeah. Don't worry, I don't bring any liquor with me, so it is halal here. I'm not sure how many of you don't drink and don't gamble and happen to be Chinese like me. It is a minority, especially during this festive season. It's the most prosperous of the time that we gamble and drink as much as we want. The gamble can start as low as RM2, but don't be fooled by such money because one can easily lose up to 3 digits after numerous rounds of gamble. Of course, it's not legal here, so just keep it quiet and we'll let the recording leak out. And I was pondering, how come Chinese love to lose money and have this risk of getting caught by police due to drinking? And summarizing all these 3 peculiar Chinese traditions to me: eating Chinese New Year meal, house visitation, gambling and drinking. And I suddenly realized there is this particular thing that strings them together. Of course, it's not the big CNY team, which is so obvious, but it is about reunion. It is festive season that we reunite, reconnect, and rekindle with our friends, our family, our relatives, or even business partners who you might not like so much. But still, we use this festive season to reconnect back, to reunite back. So life is too short not to meet up. If you haven't met some of your friends for a long time, or you haven't talked to your parents due to something, I'm not sure, or even your friends, maybe you had Cold War because they did something to you or some undesirable circumstances or anything, but just let it go because life is too short to have regrets not to meet up. Back to you, to our Toastmasters.
That was twitchy with her attempt. You don't give us any option. She only gets one. She completes the part. Which is not today. That's an interesting day. I think she's doing a more advanced one, a different topic. Next, we are, oh, by the way, Chinese with another peculiar tradition. You know, the Chinese New Year's, or the Chinese are the only ones who don't say Happy Chinese New Year. Because Gongxi Fachai does not mean Happy Chinese New Year. It means hope you get rich. Not like Happy Deepavali, but never mind, just another tradition for you all also. Okay, moving along, fourth and final speaker for the night is Sajni from UHA Toastmasters. Sajni Dharamdas is doing his DTM. She's doing the pathway called Motivational Strategies. This is one of the other 11 parts. She's doing a high level. There are 5 levels normally in each part. Once you finish the 5th level, you're considered completed the path. Okay, so she's doing level 5, project 2, lesson learned. And let me read a little bit about Sajni for you. Okay, Sajni believes strongly in service, and in this regard, she works with an NGO which helps marginalized women in Malaysia. She's Toastmastering, she's following this also, she's a mentor and currently has 8 proteges. Wow, that's a lot. And her favorite quote is by Robert Ingersoll, who said, "We rise by lifting others." With this, the timing also for Sajni is 5 to 7 minutes. So same thing, 5 minutes green, 6 minutes amber, and 7 minutes red. And let us now hand the stage over to Sajni with a speech entitled Review and Analyze. Review and Analyze. Sajni, stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. Now, this project is about lessons learned. So I'm going to share with you lessons learned after an event which I conducted. Some of you may wonder, what is this lessons learned? I think we more commonly known it as doing a post-mortem meeting. Oh my God, why post-mortem? Nothing has died. The event didn't die. But this is how we call it. And do you know, when I checked in the English dictionary, You don't really see post-mortem meeting in the dictionaries, except in Oxford Learner's Dictionary, where they use post-mortem meeting. So I personally don't like this word post-mortem. So lessons learned is a more appropriate term, I feel, and I'm so grateful to Toastmasters, they call it lessons learned as well. Now, what did I do? Or what event did I organize? Well, my club, as usual, they like to do some workshops every year. So last year they said, all right, let's do a workshop. And after bouncing off some ideas, we said, why not we do a workshop on podcast, building a podcast. And guess what? Who volunteered? Me. I'm always the crazy one. I love challenges. You know, that's the only way you learn things. So I volunteered and I said, okay, I will take it on. And you can't do everything by yourself. So I assembled a team and I decided to give the opportunity to all the new members who had joined. We have a lot of new members to take part in this particular event. Take part as a role player. And I was fortunate that 6 of them came on board. And I had one imported role player from another club. So I had the usual, the Zoom master was taken up, the TME role was taken up, SAA taken up, question master taken up, timer was taken up, and there were still a few who didn't have a role, and the role which was available was marketing and promotion. Nobody wanted to do that. That's a very tough role. Well, in the very first meeting, I explained the roles, what each role entails, and they understood, all right, this is what we need to do. And for marketing and promotions, I made it very clear that I will be leading the entire marketing and promotions. They don't have to worry so much. So they said, okay. Guess what? After 2 weeks, I didn't see any flyers. I didn't see anything happening. And I said, did I do something wrong? I do not know. I gave them some assignment, but something didn't happen. It's okay, these things happen. The next meeting, we caught up and we managed to get on track. And we got the speaker from overseas, from Indonesia, a very well-known speaker. Ilios is very well-known on doing podcasts. The speaker confirmed, the profile was there, the flyer also was out there. Everything was ready. So everything was going as per plan. Now guess what happens? As usual, in every event, no matter how much you plan, it just doesn't happen the way you want it to happen. So on that day, 29th of November, that's when the event was, we were all present, good turnout. My target was 100 to turn up, but 75 turned up, which was a very good turnout as well. Everyone logged in, everything was happening beautifully, TME, everything was running very smoothly. And suddenly, the speaker drops off. You know, we always have the WhatsApp group with all the role players. My God, my whole team was panicking, as if I wasn't panicking. The speaker dropped off, for goodness sake. What am I supposed to do? Usually the speaker logs back in a minute or two, maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes. But the speaker didn't come back. And I could not reach him. Something was seriously wrong. Fortunately, the TME jumped in and said, it's okay, calmed everybody, assured everyone, don't worry, the speaker just dropped off, we'll be back in a few minutes. 5 minutes passed and there was no sign of him. Trying to reach them, no sign of him. His phone also was like not connecting. I said, what do we do? What do we do? Then I just threw a quick suggestion to the TME. I have a friend in the whole group. I've just spoken to him. He has done podcasts. He will do some sharing. So that went on like 15 minutes. And finally, he logged back. So everything went on smoothly as planned. Workshop ended beautifully. Everybody was very happy. Towards the end, we had about 57 people. That was good. Now, after that event, we said, we need to sit down, review, and analyze what went well, what didn't go so well. I gave them a 360-degree evaluation for them to give me feedback on me, as I would like to know where I went wrong as a leader as well. Let me share with you a couple of things. They told me, Sajni, you are too results oriented. You must lighten up. I am like that. I'm very results oriented. So this is something I have to definitely look back and reflect and see how I can improve on that. Because when I have meetings, it's 1 hour meeting. It's just discuss, and this we're done and let's go. That's it. Because I believe we don't want to waste time. And the second thing which I saw, which I also took away from this when we had the session of the lessons was, be prepared for the worst. Anything can happen. Have a backup plan. I didn't have any backup plan because I have never experienced a speaker falling off. This is not the first workshop I've done. So everybody was saying, Sajni, next time we must have a backup plan. I said, excellent. That's a good idea. And the final thing was, they said, Sajni, they told me they were very happy to work with me, even though they saw that I was a little bit tight. But when I did the review meeting with them, the final meeting, I did it in a restaurant. We just chilled and everybody opened up and they were all so happy. So my takeaway from this particular event was, chill, Sajni. Don't be so uptight. Don't be so serious when you're running an event. Just chill and everything will go fine. So ladies and gentlemen, it is very important to review and analyze in anything that you do because that is how you learn. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Evening.
That, ladies and gentlemen, with Sajni with a level 5 speech. Could you all please vote for the best speaker? I think the Slido, perhaps you could scan the same Slido again, please. If you've saved it, you can go back, I think. I'll take the different Slidos, you know, either scan it or use the code. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't worry, the world won't come down if you don't do it. You can just carry on for I speak. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that more or less almost concludes my role for the evening because Toastmasters considers evaluation so important that they have another MC and they call him or her the general evaluator. And today, and now I'm going to hand over to the general evaluator, and the general evaluator comes all the way from the south, from Singapore. He is Benjamin Ang from Global Elite Toastmasters Club. Just a little bit about him. He's a very accomplished person. He's actually a co-author of a book, Power Springboard, How to Excel in Business, Income, and Life, with world-renowned experts such as Brian Tracy and author of Big Deals Singapore version. He is also, prior to this, he was editorial director at the Regional Insurance Publications, where he interviewed regional and global senior executives and insurance regulators. And last of all, currently, he heads Money Play School, a financial literacy media platform, which also showcases the value of professional advisors and Advisor Play School, a training platform where leading industry leaders and subject matter experts share their success secrets. I've edited it quite a bit. It's got a long list. I just want to give you as a very accomplished person. With this, it gives me great pleasure to hand control over to your general evaluator for the evening, Benjamin Ang. Over to you, sir.
Hi, everyone. It's me again. Again, thanks for the invitation. Very happy to be here. I think for all of us who are part of Toastmasters, this is a segment that we look forward to because Toastmasters is not a chit-chat interest group. It's not a networking group. For all of us here at Toastmasters, ultimately, like our Toastmaster of the evening, Mr. Siva has said, we all want to improve in our public speaking. So, and the only way we can all improve in public speaking and not rest in our own self-contentment is when we are evaluated, where we get tips, and where we learn to get better, right? So without further ado, let me introduce the first evaluator who will be evaluating the speech of Suren, the first speaker. So we have Avery Ong, who is from Monash University Toastmasters Club. Avery, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Hi, everyone. I'm Avery from Monash University Toastmasters Club. And I would like to congrats to Toastmasters Suren. Congratulations for meeting the project purpose of the icebreaker speech, which is to introduce yourself to the club. You have met that requirement of this project. Congratulations. And first of all, I would like to comment on your clothing. It's very festive and really related to the theme of this meeting. Well done. And you have started your speech with a strong sentence by starting it with introducing your name as in your full name. And then I like how you ended your speech also with your name, which gives it kind of a recall, a callback to more emphasis on your name and to instill more to the audience. And good job on that as well. Secondly, I like that you have a clear voice and you have a good pace of speech, which I think as an audience, I can grab all the contents of what you have delivered to the audience. And good job on that, because as a speaker, the purpose of a speaker is, the main purpose is to deliver a message to the audience. So it brings out the importance of a clear voice projection when giving a speech. And good job on that as well. The most fascinating part of your speech is that as an icebreaker, you have put in audience interaction in your speech as well. Good job on that. For example, when you say, guess what it means? You pause for a moment, and that moment is for the buffer time to the audience to respond, and you gave a welcoming smile, which shows your enthusiasm and your confidence in delivering your speech. Good job as an icebreaker. And for rooms of improvements, Toastmasters Suren, I suggest that you can stand still when delivering your speech. This is to reduce distraction when you are delivering an important message to the audience, so that the audience can focus more on the content of your speech if you don't sway more as often as you did just now. So, and also to comment on your eye contact, perhaps next time when you deliver your speech, you can make more eye contact with the audience and not facing the floor as often. So all in all, Toastmasters Suren, you have clear voice, you have good audience interaction, and also you emphasize your message and good introduction to the audience as well. To improve in your next speech, I suggest that you can stand still and to make purposeful body movements to reduce distraction and to make eye contact with the audience more often. Toastmasters Suren, one quote for you is that improvement brings contentment. So I hope that I can see, all the audience can see the improvement in you in your future speeches. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Avery. Thank you, Avery, for your evaluation. Indeed, I love the quotes, right? Improvement brings contentment, and that's what this whole session is about, for us all to improve and to help us to bring contentment. So Next up, to evaluate the second speaker of prepared speech for the evening. So the second speaker was Voice Lee, and to evaluate, we have DTM Paramis from Lavagam Tamil Toastmasters Club. The stage is yours. You may want to unmute yourself if you're still muted. Yep.
Thank you, General Evaluator. As you said, evaluators would do our very best in evaluating for self-contentment. And here I am evaluating Toastmaster Voice. Toastmaster Voice, you started your speech with a question, and that always brings every speech to a higher level. All speeches that start off with a question end with members wanting to know what you have to deliver to us. From your speech, I noted that you have a very generous heart, and you said that you were working towards making sure that everyone you meet or come across in your work would become better from their illness that they had. And you spoke about treating cancer patients. Now, you made sure that their life was worth living. My recommendation, Toastmaster Voice, would be that, like me, I'm sure the audience would have noted that if you had some facial expression, then we would have enjoyed the speech even better. You had gestures, you had your hand movement, but there wasn't that smile on your face, there wasn't that seriousness on your face when you spoke about something very serious. And the pace at which you delivered your speech could have been varied. You went at the same pace throughout your speech. There wasn't a high pitch or a low note. And you must slow down when you deliver a speech so that the audience can grasp what you have to say. We want to enjoy every word that you are delivering to us. And we want to be thankful to you for having delivered that beautiful speech. Now, there wasn't very much of a stage presence. You could have moved a little because you had that whole stage to yourself. And I was looking forward to see you move a little, maybe to the left or to the right, but there wasn't any. I must say that despite all that, I enjoyed every bit of your speech. Why did I give you recommendations? Because I wanted you to move a step higher than what you are today. And that once you apply these recommendations, you will be a better speaker. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Paramis, for the evaluation. We are also very thankful for your wonderful evaluation. So I'm sure the speaker will take note of all your recommendations to become an even better speaker for the next session. So next up, to evaluate the next speaker, we have Hui Chi, who was the third speaker of the evening. And for her session, we have two evaluators. So first up will be Eileen Lim from Nusa Jaya Toastmasters Club. She'll be evaluating Hui Chi's speech delivery. So Eileen.
Thank you, General Evaluator. First of all, I would like to congratulate my evaluatee, Hui Chi, for a job well done on delivering a humorous speech. Let's give her a big round of applause. From the start of her speech, she was loud and clear. And when she started, especially with the emphasis on the point, I am a pure Chinese, she immediately caught my attention. And every word that she spoke was spoken at a clear and steady pace. And I could listen to every single word clearly. She used a lot of good intonation, describing the food at those reunion dinners. And when her relatives started asking her questions, she changed her vocal variety to suit the situation. She also had good eye contact as she looked from the left to her right with the audience in front of her. And I could tell that all of them were also very engaged and very interested in listening to her speech. And another thing I like about Hui Qi's speech is throughout the whole speech, she used a lot of gestures and they were all very appropriate, such as when she described eating, sitting at the round table, and also how she is surprised or she is shocked when someone asked her about when is she going to get a boyfriend. And all these facial expressions were very clear, even though I'm in this online setting, I could see them real clearly. And I bet the audience also enjoyed the facial expressions and intonation of Hui Qi's speech. And I could also tell that the audience were drawn to her as they were laughing at those certain humorous punchlines. I could see through this online setting, I could see everyone else there. And she made really good use of the speaking area because she walked here and there with confidence, which shows that she is really comfortable with the audience. So in all speeches, there would definitely be room for improvement to further elevate your speech. And if I may suggest, you may like to practice giving some engagement with us here in this small Zoom meeting, because sometimes I notice that more attention might be given to the people who are physically there. And it would be great if we can also get a little bit of their attention. And another point would be that you may want to pay attention to where you are standing throughout your speech, because from the view in the Zoom meeting, there was a good amount of time that you are standing right at the corner of our screen. So it'd be great if you notice and try to stand in the middle so that you look more comprehensive. Overall, it was a very good speech. Hui Qi spoke with great clarity, with good vocal variety and good eye contact. She used appropriate gestures and she engaged with the audience, making us laugh. And she may want to work on paying attention to your speaking area and also practice giving some engagement with us here on the online audience during hybrid meetings. Overall, it was a very refreshing and very engaging and humorous speech. And I would like to hear more from you, Hui Qi, in the coming future. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for your evaluation. Next up, we have Anna. So Anna is also evaluating Hui Qi, and Anna will be evaluating her speech content. Anna, take it away.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmasters Hui Qi. I can see that the audience is in contentment because everyone felt so lighthearted and they were laughing at your speech. And if your speech purpose is about engaging humor and talking about Chinese traditions, I think you did a very good job highlighting all of that. First of all, it's very clear that there's a very good structure. You have built topical authority by stating that you are a pure Chinese. And like Hui Qi, I am also pure Chinese, if you cannot tell. So I can relate completely to you and I can even fact check what you're trying to say. And you even broke it down to 3 parts. The first being about the food, second about the house visitation, and third is about the gambling and drinking. I often evaluate how good a speech is by my attention span. And the fact that I can remember all 3 of them is a very good job because I get distracted so often. So, and overall, I thought that you added so much humor. I could hear the audience laughing even at the back. and that even like there are really funny bits where your auntie is asking you questions, and even the part where you had to deal with your boss. I thought it was very interesting that these are real life stories that we can even relate until today. Now, I love gambling, right? So I actually relate so much to this story about gambling. And if there's something that I can elevate this a bit further, is that this topic or this particular project that you're doing is related to engaging humor. Now, there were parts that I did think that there could be more laughter, because overall the speech is also about creating more humor or more parts where people can laugh. For example, you talk about peculiar Chinese traditions, but the topic alone, gambling and drinking, does not spark a humor out of people. You can say, I would like to talk about haram things. Then you say, aha, it's not what you're thinking. I'm just talking about gambling and drinking. Don't let your head get too far. So things like that can capture the audience from straying away and actually capturing them back into what you're talking about. The other thing I would like to add that can elevate your speech further is, with these three peculiar traditions, there's only one very thin red color line that's trying to draw them together, which is the fact that there's a small message that there is life is too short to regret, and people want to meet up, and that we should all enjoy this tradition. This is great. I like the fact it's a very simple message. If this was a normal speech, this is great. But when it comes to elevating it to a contest speech, since you are such an advanced speaker, I do think that there could be a bit of history as to why these peculiar Chinese traditions are so popular, or why is it such a custom. And I felt like a lot of that could have been added, especially for our non-Chinese audience, because the Chinese audience will know, my auntie is like that, my gambling friends are like that, I win so much money, it's like that every year. So a little bit of history would be helpful, even though you've added very engaging stories. I hope all this all together will elevate it and become an auspicious speech. Back to you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for your evaluation. And in the interest of time, so for the next speaker of the prepared speech, speaker number 4, Sachni, we have Nishan as the evaluator. Nishan, take it away.
Right, so for Toastmaster Sachni, hi. You're clearly an advanced speaker, so let's get into the meat of it. So Toastmaster Sachni's speech was actually about a debriefing about a project that she has already conducted. And so today, let's conduct a debriefing on her speech. The first thing I have to say, Toastmaster Sachni, is that you clearly have a lot of speaking skills already built in. So I want to spend the first half of my evaluation just working on speech skills and the second half on the leadership. For the speech skills, number 1, after dissecting your speech, I noticed that you tend to have a crutch. Not a speech crutch, but a hand crutch. You tend to put your hands together constantly during your speech. Perhaps you might want to try and vary it and keep it at the side. Now, the second crutch, the second thing that I noticed is that you can actually use the space between the camera for you to, there's a speech crutch as well, for you to use what I like to call a scene space and also acting space. So when you were telling the story about what was happening in your project when the speaker dropped off, it was mixed in with your narrating. So what you can do is when you're acting, you can come to the screen, you can use your neck, because I noticed it was stiff. You can come to the screen, use and play with the direction, the emotion you have here. And when you're narrating, you can take a step back and narrate. So keeping this distance, keeping 2 planes will allow us to differentiate when you're acting and when you're telling us a story. Now, for your storytelling, what I like about your story is that you did the typical 3-act structure. You set up the story, and after you set up a story, you created a climax where the speaker dropped off. What you might want to consider is that when you're telling a story, you might want to resolve the end. I noticed you resolved it by saying the speaker dropped off, you found someone in, and then after that, the speaker came back. But what was lacking was a change in you and the lesson you learned there, the lesson you can teach us. Because you postponed teaching us the lesson until the end of your speech. But every good story has a setup, a climax, and a message at the end. So you may want to conclude your story before you go to the meat of it, which is your debriefing. Now, in your last 2 minutes, you had some time to focus on what was the things you learned during your time doing this project. Now, what I noticed is that you already learned the lessons really well. You learned to have a backup plan and you learned to chill. These are 2 fantastic things you did. And what I would like to recommend further beyond this is that what did the others learn as well? You could have incorporated them in your speech and what they have learned individually, because you want to have participation from each and every one of them. But overall, Toastmaster Sajni, the reason I focused on these things, technicalities, was because you're clearly a great speaker. I just want to recommend that you focus on your storytelling, resolving things, your hand crutch, and using the stage a bit more. And apart from that, asking the people in the meeting to resolve their own concerns as well. But overall, fantastic speech. Especially love the starting where you mentioned that things are not a post-mortem. You know, nobody died during the project. That was unique. That was fantastic. It broke the ice and it definitely made everyone very comfortable. Please continue on your journey. And as usual, always love your speeches. Always like seeing you in Toastmasters. So all the best to you.
Thank you, Nishan. Thank you for your very structured evaluation. We learned a lot from that evaluation as well. I believe this part, we are voting for the best evaluation. Do we have a Slido slide up as well? It's coming out on the screen. Yes, now it's right up on the screen. Please vote for the best evaluation in your opinion. Everyone managed to do it? Okay, I'll count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Everyone is okay? 2, 1. All right. We should be done with the voting. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, we'll be on language evaluation. And to do that, we have the grammarian, Prasaf. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Prasaf. Please take it away.
Yeah, sure. Hi. So the grammarian report. Just give me a second here. Okay. So for the use of a word of the day, which is the contentment, we have Diyang used once, Sivalingam used 3 times, Elin used twice, Banu used twice, Richard once, Malati once, Tailun used once, Avery once, and Paramesh once. So for mispronounced words or words not used correctly, come as count, actually, the correct one. Yup can be used as yes. Such kinder can be used as kind. Written back can be used as written. Then some of the good sentences or words or expression. So the speaker's name is Richard. So he used a sentence of get happiness with simple smile from people. Malati, she has 2 sentences. Where first one is going into conversation with open heart. And another one is be wise when we want to give time to anyone. And then Mr. Sivalingam, in reference to voice, momprana is a word. And then in reference to Sachni, we rise by lifting others. It's a quote given by Sachni. And then for Wisely, her sentence was holistic success in life, where one to live a meaningful life. And the second one is best of both worlds. Koichi, festive season is to reunite, reconnect, and rekindle. And Sachni, the first one is anything can happen, have a backup plan. And the next one is chill, don't be uptight. And every improvement can bring contentment. And apologies to Surin, I couldn't catch some of your 2 good sentences that you used due to internet connections. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prasad. And a great reminder on the quotes, which I love as well, right? We rise by lifting others. And that's what we are all doing here with our learning attitude and helping each other to improve. So next, we have the report on pause fillers. And this will be done by Biyang. Biyang, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much to our GE. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Krishna, Eileen, Malati, Paramesh, and Anna for doing such a wonderful job of having no pause fillers in their speech delivery today. Please give them a big round of applause. And moving on, Suren, total number of pause filler is 7. The most used pause filler is so. Richard, total number is 6. The most used pause filler is and ya. Voicely, total 11. Most used pause filler is so. Banu, total 2. Most used is you know. Harun, total number of pause fillers used is, total number is 14. Most used pause filler is you know, Hui Chi, total number of pause filler is 2. Benjamin, total 5. Most used is so and Every on 1. Nation 1. Siwa 2. And that's my counter report. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Biyang. Thank you for the report on pause fillers. Next, we have Su Jie from Sabtu Hati Club Toastmasters International. She'll be reporting on the time control.
Yeah, thank you, B. Here is my timer report. So our meeting start on time, which is 7:30 p.m. And then our SAA he take 5 minutes and 38 seconds, and our participants, she took 4 minutes and 38 seconds, and our DTM, she overtime a bit, she took 10 minutes and 53 seconds, and our Richard, she do a good job because she controlled the time really well. Session, she took 24 minutes and 90 seconds, and our TTE, Thailand, she took 3 minutes and 57 seconds, and our Primarian just now, she took 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and our Biyang just now she take about 1 minute. Then come to our table topic section. Our first speaker, Krishna, she took 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and our second speaker, Suren, she took 1 minute and 30 seconds. So our third speaker, Voice, she took 1 minute and 55 seconds, and our fourth speaker, Eileen, he took 1 minute and 31 seconds, and our fifth speaker, Banu, he took 1 minute and 38 seconds, and our sixth speaker, Malati, she took 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So all the table topic speaker actually is eligible for the prepared speech speaker. Our first speaker, Suren, he took 5 minutes and 10 seconds, and our voice lead, he took 7 minutes and 10 seconds, which is overtime. Same is our Hui Chi, he took 8 minutes and 7 seconds, which is overtime. And our DTM is good. It's just well. It took 7 minutes and 21 seconds. Come to our evaluation section, which is our first evaluator, Every on. She took 3 minutes and 55 seconds, which is overtime, and Paramesh as well. She took 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And our third evaluator, Eileen, she took 3 minutes and 41 seconds, which is slightly overtime. And our fourth speaker, Anna, she took 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And our last evaluator, Nansan, she took 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you for your report on for the timers report. And now for my general evaluation. So I really love this hybrid setup. I was very interested when I was informed that it was a hybrid setup to see how it was run. I think that's very interesting, and it's really the best of both worlds, right? To be in person where possible, as well as, I mean, for me to be joining in from Singapore, and I think some people from different states as well. I thought that's wonderful. So, and it's not easy to plan with the tech setup and all. So I really like the hybrid setup of this club. So good job on that. What else? I also like that there are members from different clubs as well. I think that's really wonderful as well. Really a lot of learning. I mean, I learned a lot here as well from all of you. So I think that's something that I really enjoyed, and there was really good energy. So because the people at the physical events as well, and even people online during the breaks, we were chatting and all. So that was really good. Yeah, and I think a lot of it has got to do with NG as well. NG lives with me as well, briefed me before the session. So that was good. And she made it a point to really talk to everyone during the breaks and make sure that everyone feels welcome and at home. The only thing was maybe at the start when I first joined in, so I was a bit lost. I think people there were still preparing to set up. So maybe you were busy setting up and making sure that everything was okay. But when I first logged in, I was a bit lost. I didn't know where to go or who to talk to and stuff like that. But that's fine. So that is something that maybe can take note of in future for guests, and that can be improved on. And of course, for the Toastmaster of the evening, Mr. Siva, I like how obviously very experienced, made everybody very comfortable. And I really like the standing ovation for the first timer in the icebreaker speech. I think we should do that in my club as well. I think that really makes people feel excited and welcomed, and really let them have a good start to their program. Maybe a thing to take note of, maybe it could be because it's a hybrid and a physical event. Sometimes you were out of frame, especially at the beginning. And we could only see your chest level up to your neck. So that could be something to take note of. Moving forward, Richard, for the table topics master, I liked how you did the PowerPoint slide as well for it. But one thing to take note of is I think there was some maybe typo or grammatical errors in terms of the questions. So you have to take note of that. Especially if it's pre-prepared, I think we can try to check it, but it could be typo. So that's something to watch out for. But I love how you had that bridge as well. After every speech, you will give a quick summary or quick comment, and then you'll bridge it to the next question or try to get the next speaker. So I like that as well. Oh, maybe I can go back to Nicholas. Sorry, I missed Nicholas. I have a comment to make. Of course, I think Nicholas gave a very good start in terms of the house rules and all. But there was this stage at the ice-breaking part. I felt that there was some part where you were, oh, anybody wants to speak? No one. Oh, maybe someone wants to speak. So a way that maybe we can improve is be a bit more certain. If you want someone to speak, if you want one more person to speak, if nobody volunteers, maybe you want to pinpoint someone, right? Or maybe Prasad, okay, why don't you go next? Try to volunteer someone. Or if not, you can make the decision, okay, we will stop, we will move on. So I think that may be better because it was a bit uncertain during that period. Hey, do we want one more or not? Or trying to ask for volunteers or not. So that's something to take note. Okay, for Tai Lun, the table topics evaluator, the eye contact was good. I think you also gave a lot of comments on the improvements, but maybe it felt a bit rushed. I think also because we are behind time. So now I think I'm also rushing, but it did feel a bit rushed at that time as well. Like you were going from one to and the other. But I like how you have specific comments and you look at each speaker, whether physical or online, and then try to give them that evaluation. I'm going just to highlight. Okay, so I will just maybe okay, for Eileen and Anna, I like I think sometimes on Zoom as well, on web, how we set up the screens, how we set up the lighting and all. I think that's important. So I think I like how both of you have set up. And of course, very good evaluation. But maybe one thing to take note of for Anna, you may want to leave it to eye level. But of course, sometimes it's the space that we have and the gadgets that we have and the equipment that we have. But I can see that you tried to move back so that you have more gestures and we can see you. But it can feel that you are looking down, and I mean you are looking down. So if possible, a bit more eye level would be great. And Nishan's evaluation, I love it a lot. Of course, very structured, of course, very experienced as well. In terms of the setup, the technical observations there. I learned a lot from his evaluation as well. And yeah, maybe that's my quick evaluation, given I think we are quite behind time. So that's all I have. We can always reach out to me and we can have a chat subsequently on offline. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And that brings us almost to the close of tonight's meeting. We've got a couple more things to do. One of them, of course, you're voting, you need to know the results. We were just like the general election last year, yeah? So we need to know the result of the elections. Here, there's also the trusters that is done impartially. Can I have the president on stage to deliver the the first person is the best table topic speaker tonight. Is maybe we can have a drum roll into the yes. It is Maladi. You went back already just now. Yeah, I just want to say that I leave already. Okay, the next one, the best prepared speech. Out of the 4 speakers we have tonight, the best prepared speech is Dragon Boy, Suren. Congratulations, great. Okay. Thank you. Congratulations. Next, last but not least, the best evaluator for the night among the 3 sharers are Nation. Congrats.
We will master the spotlight and Fahan will help to take photo.
Can you spotlight Nation, please? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Q.
Thank you. Now it's almost at the close of my session, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting evening. Just for your information, I came into this role at just last minute. But to be honest, I enjoy these kind of roles. It's fun. I enjoy the spotlight, to be honest. The hard part of being a TME is not running, to me, it's not conducting the TME session, it's getting the role players. Here, all the role players are there. I just come up and show up and speak, which I enjoy. Hopefully, all of you all enjoyed the meeting today. It's been an interesting session. Great meeting with 4 speakers. That's nice. Great physical turnout. Great online turnout also. Thank you so much, Klang Bilingual, for having me here and giving me this opportunity. And now it gives me great pleasure to hand control back to your president, Lee Wee Young.
Thank you very much to our Toastmaster of the day, Siwa, for doing such a wonderful job to bring up the energy level of this meeting. Firstly, I would like to thank our general evaluator for today, Benjamin. Thank you for coming to our club. Thank you for providing us such an insightful feedback for our improvement. I would like to now present our certificate of appreciations to our general evaluator. May I invite Blue Master to spotlight our GE, and Fahan will help us to take photo.
We are waiting for the certificate. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, our GE, for coming today. We hope to have you some other day in our meeting, and we will invite you again. And next, I would like to thank all of our role players, both internal and external. Thank you for coming today to support our club. Without you, this meeting would not happen successfully, and all the members and guests here, we will not get the chance to learn and grow to be a better person. Without further ado, and the time is running late, I would like to now quickly move on to announcement. Our club next meeting will be on 15th of February, the same mode of the meeting, hybrid meeting. And I hope to see everyone again in our next meeting. All right, and the theme for our next meeting is love language. And there is a special sharing sessions. So when you come in our next meeting, you will know there is a special sessions that will really benefit you. All right, let us now move on to our next announcement, our club international speech and table topics contest. Oh, yeah, I said February just now. All right, so our next announcement, our club international speech and table topics contest will be on 1st of March. It's a fully physical contest. And for guests, if you would like to attend our contest, you can always contact me. You can get my contact on the poster here. You can get my contact here. And for our guests on the line, our Zoom master later, she will drop my contact at the chat there, and you can get my contact there. All right, and next is our club KBTC t-shirt. Congratulations. Yeah, this is our first ever KBTC t-shirt, and congratulations, Toastmasters International has already approved our t-shirt. And we will only do one time due to there is minimum order quantity. And for our members, you know, I have already dropped a link in our WhatsApp group. So you will need to click the link, fill up your name, the t-shirt size, and upload the receipt through the link. And yeah, the price for the t-shirt is 31 ringgit. So make sure you get one for yourself, because we will not make again. And this is the only time we will do this t-shirt. You can wear this t-shirt during regular meeting or our social activity. All right, and next, our club next activity, we have done a lot of activity. We have done hiking for a few times, right? I believe a lot of you are joining here. We have done bowling, we have done badminton. And for this time, we want to try something different, something that most of you have never done before. So we will go for bouldering on 18th of February. We also call bouldering, we also call indoor rock climbing. And this is something new. I hope everyone here, if you can make it on Saturday, come and join us. So the fees for this activity is 43 ringgit. It's actually 1 day pass, meaning that actually this bump bouldering at Jaya one, right? They open at 9 o'clock to 7. 1 day pass means you can come in the morning and you can go for your lunch and come back again. The 43 ringgit also including shoes. Yeah, and for us KBTC, we will be there from 11 to 4 o'clock. So you can always join us. Yes, you can bring your family members. You can bring your children, your wife. You can bring your friends. All are welcome. All right. Now, as the time is running late, if you have anything, you can always contact me. With that, I shall now announce our meeting today is urgent. See you again in our next meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night. See you all. Take care. Bye.
If you have any questions, you can stay.
Happy Chinese New Year too.
Happy Chinese New Year. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. All right, so for our friends here, they are Mandarin oranges. Make sure you get one for them.
Thank you. Thank you, Nishan. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Actually, no, the bạn nó được bán cái thứ là